Hello, I wanted to try a different lighting. See, over here is yellow light and behind me is a very fancy thing I don't really need. And so I bought it. So, but it can do that, and that's why I bought it. I don't need anything really, or what? What did he say? What need I have for that? What need I have for this? I am dancing at the feet of my Lord. All is bliss, all is bliss, bliss, bliss. Let's call it bliss. Ah. I was going to reflect on something in a different way besides talking or writing about it. You know, talking, flippity flappity flop, or writing, scratchity scratchity scratch, crutch, 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 crutch. In music, sometimes you can distract yourself from the most obvious points of points of view. So, and also by this dialect of mine, I could illustrate to you English speaking people how it sounds to the rest of us when you are trying to speak our language, speak our languages, or even name some of our cities. You know, Copenhagen, it doesn't sound like, you know, where I live. Here it sounds like this. Köpenhamn. Nej, det var fel. Nej, det måste vara någonting fel här på det här. Vad i helvete har det hänt? Vad är det här för någonting? Om jag pratar så här, måste jag bo i Stockholm, kanske Göteborg, jag vet inte. Sorry, wrong, what circuit, wrong circus. København. See, it's like Cockney. I'm gonna jump into the water. København is the opposite of water. København. And then you put a sort of almost. København. So, and that's the point of all of this lighting and funny things, and the guitar is just a prop for me and all what I said and everything, because everything is just everything for everything and everything. So that's it. Thank you. Bye bye. Felkinus boy grihin grufner he lusnirmen nesningur lulmengur gull home of the pulse. It's just like France is home of the frantic, and you know, Germany, home of the germs. I can't use the Ottoman Empire full of furniture because Eddie Izzard already used that. So instead of that, I'll say the Egyptian language, country full of gypsies. Actually, because the gypsies once thought it was very fashionable to be coming from Egypt, you know, with the pyramids and all. So the gypsies called themselves Egyptians, and so it's stuck. Really, they're Roma, but that is disputed as well. So Roma, mi amore, el città, el città, el città, el città. What I really want out of music is total freedom. Freedom. Jingle, 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 ding. And every sinner in a fun there's something of your Sterlomen kri haikurni mittirviri. Mini vido sterviri. Mini vido sterviri. In stervini. In stervoni. Stervoni. In carai hengristin tri, fonori brigistin in dengri vistan hori vistin kriga kränkan oikersten in jäkkel mande. Lingri vil vespun gucci quang, poin kostuller bingin quedum baksekong border bakong mistikong quedina voidum bado bada bada bada. Something, you know, freedom in music, but could be also that I just need to let my hair down. You see how I have let my hair down? By growing old, for one thing, and by combing it with normal measures for about ages. You see how you really should comb your hair. depends on whether you are using logic or not. If you're not, you start here. If you are using logic, you start at the other end of your hair. Thank you. Thank you for letting go. So you start at the other end of your hair, and you very gently brush out right near the tips, so that your hair becomes untangled before you. Because if you start up here, you're going to tighten the knots as you get further down. So you start very gently up here, and then very easily you can untie the knots that aren't really knots yet. They're just very easy to comb out with this brush, and then you go further up, and later you go further and further up, and then you can go further. You can also do it from the other side. As you get through the shite, you can just do it any way you want, you see? But if you start from there, you're going to tie a knot like. So don't be stupid. Comb your hair systematically. Don't waste time. And don't buy any hair products, because you know they're all fake. As well as makeup is fake, you know. Makeup is not wake up. Makeup is something to make women waste as much time as men do on sport. Competition is, you know, kindling the flame. The burning flame of 12-year-olds who want to see who's best at something and haven't yet grown up. The women had to be put in some kind of a mental prison also, because otherwise you can't just continue this consumption overdrive thing that keeps pushing money up, trickling up. So in order to stupefy women, you couldn't use sport, because women are too intelligent to remain as 12-year-olds until they're 27, because, you know, hormones, testosterone stops us when we are 12, and then we catch up with the women when we're 27. So they're not fooled as easily as we are. Then these are the standard generalizations. You know, everything is not A and B. Everything is an alphabet that doesn't exist with 9 billion different symbols, but we only use 24, 80. Thailand uses 85, I think. So to keep the women preoccupied, just like the men, let's see who's best this week. My God. Oh no, there it is again. So to keep the women as preoccupied with idiocy as men are, in this post-religious period where people aren't so religious, you have to keep them preoccupied with something that isn't religious. They started with branding and stuff. You know that. Branding. Have a smile and a joke, you know. So in order to keep the other half of the population preoccupied with nonsense, you know what I'm going to say now, don't you? It's about using makeup. Sadly, I have spoken to men who like makeup and lingerie, as you call it. Lingerie en français, hein? Lingerie. Where'd you get that? Copenhagen? No, Copenhagen. Lingerie. You call it Danish, we call it wienerbrød. What? Wakey. Never mind. But in order to keep the women preoccupied as well as the men, the industry has emphasized an already existing tendency for people, not just women, to decorate themselves. But the industry has managed to make it believable that you cannot leave your home without painting your face. I mean, come Martians, come to me, and I will ask you, on this planet Earth, Half of the population cannot leave home without painting their faces. Would you say that is a religious or a reasonable thing? And I would, and my answer as a Martian, as personally being a Martian, I like war, and I think it is an excellent way to distract people from the issue of power long enough for wars to continue, because as long as very few people have the power, it's all down to personal things, not principles, that you can have a political party sharing principles. These principles, that principle. Some believe in this, some believe more in that. But if only one person has the power, it's just this guy's beliefs. You know, Nero, Caligula, Hitler, Stalin, yada yada. Donald Trump seems to think that he is both that he has what did he say? My great and unmatched wisdom. This is something that comes from people who are stupid enough to think they have nothing to learn. Oh, did you really think so? Oh, 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 oh. See, I thought I was wise there using these chords with those notes, but I wasn't. See? Mistakes are made, and if you can't admit your mistakes, you are bound to make them again and again and again. It's kind of a, it's really sad. Donald Trump, if it is true what they say, that he's a narcissist and a sociopath, psychopath, whatever. And it really seems like that, it seems like that. If it is true, it's very sad, because what I know about narcissists is they're never satisfied because other people aren't good enough for them. Never, ever, ever. I do know that psychology talks about something called resilience. And now, resilience, you know what resilience is. I'm very resilient. Put anything to me, I'll face it. So, little children get resilience by being invited. I'm sorry about the colors of this shite. I am not a photographer, and this lamp doesn't want to sit well. Hello, Mr. Sitwell. So, there, you can put it there if you can do good. Oh, no, I'll put it there. Put it there. Let's put it there. Whatever. Very sad because, narcissists, never mind Mr. Trump, they're all sad people. Okay, we're all sad people. We are all going to die. That's very sad. We all either love somebody who dies at some point, or we love ourselves who die sometimes at some point. It's very sad also. But you see, narcissists are very, very, very sad people. They're never happy because nobody's good enough for them, and they can't see the mistake in themselves. They have to project flaws on other people. It can't be my mistake, can't be my fault. Mea nichivo nikada culpa. I'm never to blame, never, ever. I have a theory. Just pulling this out of my right ear and sticking it in my left. That you see this resilience stuff is when you are invited into this world by being mirrored. That is, when you smile, your mother or father or somebody smiles at you, you smile, you learn to smile, they react in a human way. This is called mirroring. It's a kind of indoctrination, but if you get it from enough different angles, you will grow as a human being. So 2 parents, that's a good thing. Other people later on, a good thing. But then if you don't get that, you're not invited into the world. People are strange to you. It doesn't stimulate your brain well enough. And psychopaths, I'm straying from the narcissists, uh, don't actually always lack empathy, but they lack the ability to think abstractly. So when you're in a company of friends, 5, 6, 7 people talking together, jokes and subtopics and stuff you don't really catch on to, is ricocheting of people, they're talking. If you can't get your, if you feel like you're not understanding that, you can take power instead. You can use your empathy, observe what they're feeling, and then you can say, she's feeling hurt now. And then you talk to her. So empathy is a tool for the psychopath. Because abstraction is when you can say, it's a kind of, I think, it's still pulling it out of my end there. 2 kinds of empathy, the immediate empathy and the abstract empathy. The I feel with you, I see you cry, I feel awful for you, it hurts me that you cry, it hurts me that you're feeling sad. And the other one is, I understand your situation, and I can see where this is going, and God, man, that's a hard one. Whatever. And so if you only possess the primitive empathy, you can see what's going on, you can feel people's feeling, but you don't have the grown-up mind. If you, say, as a 6 or 7-year-old, learn to use manipulation instead, then you never have to learn about what people are talking about. You can always just stop the conversation and do a trick, or say a joke, or whatever smart game goes. And so we all have a little of this, but if you specialize in that, you never have to learn. You can always just find a group of people who are dumber than you. This rumor about people who are psychopaths and in leaders of companies, they never, like Trump said, I think he said this, I'm not sure, never hire someone who's smarter than you. And this is because of the primitive conception or belief that we're all just trying to get to the top. If I was at the top of something, let's say I play guitar and I was forming a band, I would choose the best guitarist I could get, even if he composed, sang, and did everything better than me. Everything, so that I was just this dwarf come up to this giant and say, would you please play 1 note on my song here? I would do that. I think Trump is perhaps the opposite. He would like to have brilliant people until he discovers that they are too wise for him. They're on to his scheme of manipulating instead of understanding. There's the schisma, You understand things, and then you can play along. You understand the game, the whole thing, everything. You learn and learn and learn and learn, and you understand more and more aspects of this game and other games. Or you win the game every time. You don't understand it, but all you do is manipulate everybody and bribe them and stuff like that. And you say you're great. I'm sorry, I believe this is Trump, not this. What I just said, I believe that's what Trump is doing. I saw an interview of a taxi driver who was a former entrepreneur, and he said that in one deal he had with Donald Trump, that Trump had said to him, you can get half what we agreed, or you get nothing because I'm going bankrupt. So he agreed to take half, and he went bankrupt, and Trump got all the credit and all the profit and all the thing. It's because he's a good negotiator. Good negotiator. It's like, some symbiosis is trees and fungi. Trees have a little trouble picking up nourishment from the soil, but there are fungi that can do that. So they can latch on to the roots. So then the fungi give the trees the minerals they can get from the earth, and in return the trees give them sugar. I believe it's sugar. This is symbiosis. And Trump is the kind of fungus that eats the tree. Now, I rest my cassette. Thank you very much.